Hello, everybody, and welcome to Aurorum Thronekeeper first season, which is exciting session 2. What's up? How are y'all doing?
Hi.
Hi. It's funny. Everybody decided to get new backgrounds for this session and maybe moving forward, and they all look good except for Josh's. Josh's looks quite horrifying, actually. Makes you think
It
of something.
looks fine.
No, I was referring to like what incident happens back there. Josh, what's going on behind you across that water? Oh, Jesus Christ, why can I never turn down the volume of this? Thanks.
You have to do them individually.
Oh my god. But the thing is, I made it so system sounds at 1%. I'm just turning system sounds off, and let's see if that makes it so it just doesn't make any noise now. We'll see. Next host if it does nothing. Put it down to 0. Because it used to work, but with slobs it doesn't, and I don't know why. Fuck you, slobs. Alright. Let's get into the game. I'm pretty sure we're all excited about it. Quick little recap what happened last session, which was the first session. Last session we had the party arriving in the capital of the nation of Amalta. The name of the capital is Heplon. There they kind of just described how it was that they got there, kind of like their approach to go speak with the queen for the first time, so on and so forth. And then they met very briefly just outside of her throne room. Very light conversation.
Once more with feeling.
Nope, can still hear it. Thanks for the sub, Josh. So the standing outside there, meeting each other for the first times, and then finally going into it, kind of like taking in the sights, the nobles, who they knew, how they knew them, so on and so forth.
Once more with feeling.
I'm going to be distracted as fuck if I can still hear these. I need to find out why volume mixer is not silencing them. It's like annoying the crap out of me. Maybe it's this. Maybe if I mute that, it'll do it. We'll find out. Let's see. So otherwise I'm going to keep getting distracted by ADHD and noises going in my ears that don't need to be there. So my apologies. Looking around the room and seeing which nobles they knew, how they knew them, why they were there, whether or not they knew you. Just kind of like really taking in the scene, so on and so forth. After you kind of did that, you actually listened to the queen speak. She told you more or less the plight, her opinion, and gave you guys a bit of a first quest. As part of that first play, I really wish I had it as like a prop because I think it looks cool in my head. But she literally handed you a mirror, right? Shards of reflection is what it's called, and the mirror is literally a shard of a broken, much larger mirror, kind of encased into what looks like a handheld mirror, like you'd find if you were, maybe looking at the back of your head at a barber shop or with a hairdresser, right? And within that mirror happens to be locked into it the military counsel to the queen herself. Nope. Here we go. Just trying to get his name as my notes load very slowly. Thank you. Roll 20. And his name is Augustine Heathgart, Savant Augustine Heathgart, who is a noble and once again the military advisor to the queen. He's literally within this mirror, and you guys can speak to him. After accepting your quest, and maybe her speaking a bit too much, you head off to your own direction, kind of got to know each other a little bit more. There was actually a pretty awesome, touching moment between the party as Doxy got on a knee and spoke to, I should say Chris Ellen, spoke to Laszlo, and Oscar chimed in. Then you guys spoke to him and then left, knowing that your mission was to head down south along the border, the border between Amalta and Jovance. Jovance, as a reminder, is a nation that is it's a sovereign nation that is allied with yours. They are also fighting the same enemy that you are, and their small little chunk of land is what stops the Paradel military from coming and stepping foot on your soil and bringing the war to your home. So you need to keep their bit strong. On your way there, your intention was to speak to a bunch of the peoples, get to know them. You actually made the grand decision, not just to talk to some of the people as you went, to literally stop by every tavern on the way. So if there were 4 taverns in a town, you probably made the trips much quicker, but you stopped by all of them. If there was only one, you stopped by it. If there wasn't a tavern, you stopped by an inn or a speakeasy or whatever it might be to make sure that you made a bit of a presence. Again, bit of a touch and go, but then we're going from there. Fun little update. We did update the map, so the map actually is measurable as they go along, which is fun. So why don't we pick up where we had left off over in the city, or I should say small town, technically, by ruling, of Isaac. So as you guys approach the small town of Isaac, small town, as a reminder, has a few thousand people that live there. It's like a good 3,000 or so. Nothing that's too small. And then technically you'll have even more people in farmlands around it and so on. So the small town of Isaac actually has no walls to it as you approach. It's just the population gets more and more dense as you're getting closer to the inside. Like the rest of Malta, I mean, this land here is beautiful. It really is. You have rolling hills of grasslands. You just have a nice, serene kind of feel to it. Or at least it would be if it wasn't for that constant kind of background feeling of doom and gloom, where people don't have that running out and children running down, ha 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 ha, kind of happiness going on. You can feel everybody's a bit guarded. People are a little quiet into themselves. As you're entering the town of Isaac, which is one of their older towns, you can see that the people similarly are that way. Looking for kind of a location for you guys to go and first throw down your the gauntlet, I suppose, to speak with people, get to know them. You know that there is a tavern here of decent renown. It is the Broken Stallion. So the Broken Stallion Tavern is a location where you can kind of go. There's literally a stable right outside of it because it's over near kind of the entrance to the place. And you can have your horses mended to, taken care of, and go inside and get good drink. It's well renowned because so many people pass through here. They actually have a small stage inside the tavern, which is pretty rare that you're going to just see a stage in a tavern, right? And so passers-by, bards and the like, will actually come in. And when you guys first enter the place, you can see that it is pretty busy. I mean, even just walking in, the first surveying of the room that you see, there's a lot of people in here sitting around. Trying to find a spot that has 3 consecutive seats or grouped together might be a little difficult. As is no surprise, kind of taking the look of the room, you see they're predominantly humans inside here. Malta is a predominantly human nation, with the secondary race in here being hobgoblins. There's lots of hobgoblins about. The bartender himself, of course, is a hobgoblin. But actually, up on the stage, you see a Perrin is up there, strumming at some instruments, a lute, lyre, who knows? Chris Allen does. As they're trying to entertain the crowd. People are either not paying attention or booing at this person. It's actually causing a bit of a volume that's almost funny for you guys, as the whole crowd seems to be unanimously booing this person. Chris Ellen, a woman of the arts herself, he's not bad. Why are they booing? Anyways, like I said, a quick surveying of the area shows no 3 seats together. What do you guys do as you want to kind of come in and speak to the peoples here, kind of get to know the locals?
First, I want to see if I recognize the minstrel or bard.
Do me a favor, roll me a perception and, or sorry, you can actually roll me a knowledge, what is it, region, local, whatever it is, or a, yeah, one of those, like a knowledge, local region sort of a thing.
Is that in...
Or history.
If I don't have it?
Correct.
Okay.
It's actually a really good roll. It's a really, Doxy always rolls well. That's, oh, let me make sure you guys can actually see the dice. I'm actually hiding them from you right now. Bam. So, yeah, that's crazy good. What do you do, Dox, with your 4 stunt points and your 18?
Fuck, I don't have that open. Give me a second. Sorry.
Good opportunity to note that.
Doxy says is quiet as fuck.
Sounds super bad.
Well, no, as in quiet.
Hopefully.
Well, if you look at two mentions above that, right?
Oh yeah. No, I see. Oh, you can't even hear me.
So it's all of us.
It's all of
It's
us.
us.
We're all dead silent. Is what's happening here.
No, your sound is coming in.
Not to them.
Why is it this one game? This one game has sound volume, because I don't have issues with anything else. I didn't have any issues yesterday. Say something.
I don't know.
Hey, something.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I don't know what. It's literally this one game, because I played Kingmaker yesterday, same exact setup, and no issues whatsoever. I changed nothing.
Bard, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, there you go.
Bard, doo-doo-doo.
You just moved the thing. You said to silence the alert. Maybe you messed with the volume.
I changed it. Well, I says, okay, let's try this. You guys say something?
Something. Hi. Hello.
Something.
better for you guys?
Something.
Shitty bar doo 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 doo
Just have to wait
doo
till they-
shitty bar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So apparently that thing that I turned down, I was like, maybe this will turn off that stupid sound that I'm hearing. But I don't know. I just have to turn off all the sound alerts from when people host and stuff like that because it's just too distracting for again, for some reason, just this game. Because I didn't hear anything yesterday when we streamed. But okay. I have no
Okay.
idea
All
why.
right. I'm
Thursday
gonna
Night
use,
Curse. Thursday Night Curse. That's what it is. Sorry.
I'm gonna use that makes me wonder for 3 points.
Oh, I don't even have my table open. Let me type over here. Stunts.
I'll read it out loud to everybody really quick. You may immediately make another perception test at no additional cost in time or resources to discover more information about your surroundings or the object of your test. This bonus test must use a different focus from the first test, however, and doubles on this bonus test do not give rise to stunt points. The 2 tests are assumed to transpire simultaneously, not one after the other. If
So-
there is nothing additional to discover, the stunt is wasted, but the GM will not prevent you from choosing this stunt, even when there is nothing additional to learn.
No, you're good. So I'm going to have you roll that perception like you said, and you have no focuses there, so you're good to go. Just roll your perception.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for catching that sound thing before it became too late and we were missing something. So, all right, let's see. With your another beautiful roll of 13. So one of the things you quickly pick up about this person, clearly you can tell by not just the fact that they're parent. Like you seeing somebody's parent as a reminder for, I suppose, 2 of you might not know this. Parent, when they're young, look like humans. As a matter of fact, unless you're a parent, and even sometimes parent, don't know that when you're looking at a young parent, that you're looking at a parent. You think you're looking at a human. Most people can't tell the difference. Is as they get older, once they hit like their 30s and so on, that they start to get their faces kind of sinking a little bit, their ears elongate, their jaw kind of jawline kind of heightens. They start to get those features that show that they're a little bit more otherworldly than a typical human, right? A parent can kind of pick this up pretty quickly. Even Chrisellen, with all of her training, she might not always know. You know what I mean? She just is probably about as perceptive as another parent is because they don't always know. It's their own race. You know, they've seen their own parents and cousins their entire lives. So that being said, one of the things that you notice when you first walk in, because he's probably in his late 30s, is that man is a parent. But you also very quickly pick up that they are obviously based off the style of clothing they wear and so on and so forth. They're very likely from the region of Bard, the province of Bard in Paradel. So they're not just a parent, they're of Paradel. And though their skill clearly is there, because that is the name Bard, the class Bard, comes from the schools of that province, right? You can see that the people around here. Oh yeah, it's not even just the race; it's the region, right? Like, how dare you be in our place, trying to entertain us, give us money? And with your additional perception there, I'm actually, because this was kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Sympathy or empathy role. You actually notice that you can see that there are people in this crowd here that might turn things, not here openly, but you can see that they're given that look, like that drunken look, like let's wait till he leaves. Kind of like see that kind of like passing amongst them. The bard is genuinely just trying really hard and not understanding why they're not liking that. It's like, I'm on point. What is going on right now? It's like, well, you're playing K-pop at a boomer party. What's going on, buddy? Like, what do you expect? So,
is it possible that I may have gleaned a way in which I could turn them to the bard's favor?
Turn them to the bard's favor would be a very, very hard ask because of the.
I'm a very, very high roller.
Yeah, but
Very, very convincing girl.
talking about 20 years of war. So I mean, you can, and this is a big, again, a crowded place. So you would have to get the people's. If you're talking about that small group or the massive group, you're gonna have to get their attention and kind of approach it from there.
Can I tell that he's a Perrin just outright, knowing my background?
Maybe. You both you and Josh can roll a perception check.
Well, I had a question about the
Please.
lore checks because I have cultural and historical. Could I roll
Cultural
either
would
of those?
work. Yep.
Nice
It's
roll.
16 with 5 stunt points
Hell yeah,
on that
bud.
perception.
Feel free to use your stunt points if you would like before I say anything. Well, I will say both of you guys realize that he's parent.
Yeah, I'm going to do with a flourish if this is an exploration, if you'll allow. The manner of your success is impressive to those who are nearby to watch you. You have +1 bonus to oppose tests against them until the time or venue changes. Because the idea is that I'm going to be walking up to the stage as I realize this in full military garb with my spear outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to enjoy the music a little bit and walk over and start tapping my foot.
Okay, so one of the things to notice about what, to kind of add on what I said to Doxy beforehand, like I said, the province of Bard is where the name Bard comes from, like the actual profession and music and all that stuff. It's also the province that has the most magic. It actually makes magic items and whatnot in Paradel. It's where most magical training will happen there. Of course, under Arcane Congress, like, oversight and whatnot. So he would probably know what a Venator is. Probably, if he's been properly schooled.
Currently I am in regular soldier's garb.
I know.
I am not appearing as a Venator currently.
So you kind of go over there and you start tapping your foot or whatever, and that's nice. Tapping your foot. My apologies. To the beat or tapping your foot like. Okay.
To the beat.
Okay. Oh. Not like
in tapping my foot to the beat and enjoying the music in front of individuals. Genuinely just this guy's trying to put on a show. That's all I know. And I know he's a parent, and every parent isn't necessarily bad, and people need to realize that.
Exactly, because he's not wearing like military clothes. Josh?
What?
You succeeded and you had one stunt. Anything you wanted to do with it?
I don't have anything I could do with one. Like adaptation positioning doesn't seem like it would be something that would be useful in this situation. Hopefully it's not something that would be useful in this situation. And I'm not the kind of character that would do a witty remark. No, I won't use it. What I kind of want to get from my from what I rolled was if there are more local songs that I might know that maybe I could suggest to Chris Ellen to tell this dude, because what he's playing ain't working.
It's funny, you mentioned a couple of local songs. She was probably already thinking of these songs because she's, again, just happens to be the arts.
I am a woman of culture, Leslie.
I'm
you
sorry,
needn't say.
I read a lot, and I just, I'm sorry.
Save the first dance for me.
Oh, is he gonna step on your feet while you do it?
Why you gotta ruin everything, my love?
For the record, that's how Josh and I would dance in real life. He'd have to step on my feet. So, Doxy, how do you try to go about winning these people over? And when you say these people, what do you mean by?
So in between songs, I would be up near the stage, and I would say, "We can win them."
To specifically him?
To him, yeah.
Okay. He'd kind of like, look up at you, and he might not necessarily know who or what you are, because even though you have a diamond and everything, there's not like you have like a badge saying, "I am," like, "I are whore,"
Right.
So he looks at you and he says, "Oh, I've been trying all evening, but unfortunately they don't seem to be swayed by my song. Have thoughts?"
Do you know such and such local song?
He thinks for a second. He goes, "Oh, that ghastly thing? Oh, no.
Play it and play it beautifully. You will win them.
Oh, really?
I will sing for you. I'm not great, but I am fun."
He nods and says, "Well, I appreciate the effort. Besides, who could turn down such a gallant offer from such a lovely lady?" And they kind of like bling and start playing, playing the music or whatever. And he switches to a song that's more local, and immediately you can see that people are like more offended by the fact that he's playing like a local. This Perrin scum is playing one of their local songs. You can see immediately like the ones that were already had the ire.
I'm gonna start making a show of dancing and clapping and making merriment.
Sure. I want you to roll. I imagine you don't have a focus in dancing, so you're gonna roll for me because you're trying to like win people over. It's actually kind of a communication check, and
sure.
I'm not gonna.
I've got persuasion and bargaining.
I'm not gonna say persuasion yet because it's not specific enough to have that kind of work. This is more of, like you said, putting on a show. Go ahead.
Just communication then, flat.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's bad.
You have a stun point.
Oh no! Okay, hold on.
This is role playing.
We can maybe make something happen here. You tag the perfect witty remark onto the end of your action, affecting all those who hear it that much more deeply. If you can't think of one, the rest of the players and GM quickly brainstorm options and you choose among them. Word of your wit is likely to spread for good or ill. So, fuck. Okay. She would say,
Man, I'm about to have to get into a fight right now, aren't I?
no, you're not. You're not. We're going to save it. We're going to turn it around.
All right. Okay.
Thankfully, he plays honor to this place better than I dance honor to this place.
Yeah, kind of like more or less like, oh, his music's better than my dancing. It's one of those things where a couple people might chuckle to it, and other people are just kind of like, I mean, again, you rolled so well before. I'm not going to have you roll again to notice this. You can see that the people that had ire before now have ire towards you as well. Like, oh, who's this? She's obviously with him. All right.
I look specifically to them, and I would say, he must have great honor for this land.
I mean, again, there is no winning them
I can't
over
roll a persuasion for that?
for something like that. I mean, it's just a statement. So no, they're kind of like, they're angry. But you also have to remember, Doxy, they're also drinking and have been for a long time. So
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. All right. No. Here's my new plan.
Okay.
A round of drinks for the people nearby that are joining on the fun.
Ooh. Okay. That actually, funny enough, I'll actually have that roll as a bargaining because you're literally offering what A for B. Go ahead. You can
I'm not going to be like, anybody who's enjoying this gets a drink on me. I'm going to be like I'm going to see who's like,
Yeah. Like, you come dance. You come be a part of it, and I'll buy you a drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go ahead, roll your check. Roll a bargaining. I'll take it.
13's not terrible.
13 is not terrible. What's your
No,
guess?
Scott, can I do something?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. You're sitting back watching this, like, don't notice me.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to be the center of attention or anything, but I also don't like the fact that they're like, kind of focusing now on Griselin. So I want to target the guy who seems to be like the main person of the table that's causing the ruckus, like the bro of the group that's like stirring the pot.
So funny enough, you actually originally weren't aware of them. It wasn't until because you don't know Griselin a lot, but you've traveled with her for a few days. You can see the way she interacts with people. You can see she's kind of trying to use her force of personality towards that group, which brings your attention to them. Roll me a quick perception to see if you can kind of pick out which of them are. Yeah, I guess perception works. Yeah. Yep, you quickly pick out which of them is the kind of like the Gaston, if you will.
All right.
The Gaston.
Can I see? Does he have a coin purse or something that's readily like seen that you're able to see?
Yeah, he probably has. Like a side belt. You imagine this probably keeps his coin as well as other things. Sure.
Yeah. I want to use my Legerdemain or whatever it's Ledgerman or whatever it's called to swipe that so he can't pay to drink anymore.
Oh, that's so scary.
So what is this? Is this a spell of yours?
No, this is a dexterity roll.
Oh, you want to walk, but you want to have.
He's just pickpocketing.
Yeah, I just.
Oh man, if this goes poorly. If this goes poorly, I can't wait. Oh man, this is like a perfect time to drop a curse. Oh, this session.
No, don't do it, please. God,
please, guys. They can't yet.
They can't.
Oh,
they wouldn't.
God.
They wouldn't. They're scared. You're scared. Y'all scared.
Why are you doing this, Josh?
Trust me,
Doxy,
you want them to spend it on
I don't think
curses.
you're scared. I think you're very brave, chat. You're very brave.
Doxy, what have we gotten ourselves into? What have we done?
Like, wait, Josh is the other PC? Abort!
You want curses, not trump cards. Just FYI.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, so I just want to like swipe it. I don't want to like keep his money or anything. The end goal would be for me to say I found it outside or whatever. But I just want to get it to where he can't pay for drinks, so that he'd be like, "Oh, I got to call the night" or whatever.
Josh, nobody wants to hear you talk anymore. We want to see them dice.
All right. 18.
Holy
Damn, bud!
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm dexterous.
That's a dirty 20.
That's a dirt.
kidding me?
Oh my goodness.
That is like a doxing roll. That's
With
like a
5
doxing-
stunt points.
I know.
That's so silly.
This
oh
is like
my
so
goodness.
critical. Like, hold on. Didn't I make a chart for DC guidelines? Imposing check is a 19. Formidable is a 17. He could probably with the stunt points give himself a +1. So I guess role playing this counts as right.
Oh, do you want role playing? Okay.
I guess
Bowler.
because we don't have like another one that really fits for this yet. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it's gotta be flirt.
Yeah.
I don't see any other thing that would work in
He
this
grabs his
situation.
coin purse.
Yeah.
I flirt. Yeah.
You flirt.
I mean, you could say it's not really exploration, but you could say I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really talking to anybody. That's the role playing part I'm worried about. Like,
Oh, you know what it is? I'm so sorry. Stunt is not spending stunt points like this. You know what? Because there's another way stunt points are used. Chat and PCs. There's another way stunt points are used as well. Let's say you're trying to do something like, I don't know, jump a gap. Like I'm like.
Or
all right,
what if
guys.
say you're trying to pickpocket someone? Then
What
what?
if say
Well, I'm trying to something that's a little bit more easily explained, right? So let's say you're just literally just trying, like I'm literally trying to jump a 10-foot chasm. The DC is 9, and you beat the 9. The stunt die actually tells you, oh, you just barely made it, or crushed it, no problem. So
Okay.
you know that you succeeded, but how well you succeeded. So in this situation, we're gonna say the 5 means no, you do it deftly. Like
Okay.
we're talking, you leave no trace, no sign, no hints, no nothing. You easily take it, walk away, and you can drop it on the ground or whatever you want without anybody noticing a thing. They don't even notice you walk by the table.
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if Oscar would be watching because, it's kind of his job.
No, you did so good. You did so good with what you saw.
Yeah. So, what I would do is I would just go, after I did that, I would go and stand by the front door. And that's it. I would just wait.
Do you keep it on you or do you drop it at this point?
I would, if no one's watching, I would just like drop it right outside. So it's not on me.
So kind of like as soon as somebody like walks in the door, you just kind of
Yeah, just like drop it, and then that way, if he comes up to me, I'll just wait, and as he's leaving, I'll be like, "Oh, did you drop this?" And just give him back his money.
Cool. And just as a reminder, if we're rolling dice in a situation where we don't have a table that makes sense like this, that's what it's going to mean. So if you roll high, cool, take the narrative. So anyways, moving on. So you do exactly that, and it goes beautifully. I imagine nobody notices. Doxy, you're trying to win them over. Did you roll you did. You rolled a 13. Yes. So you actually do get a few of the people like, oh, hell, free drinks, I'm in. Like, oh, okay. and a couple of people actually join in and will come along as he picks up, you kind of like lean over, whispers, I play this one next. And he's like, really? Yes. Okay. And he plays this other song that is a local favorite. And then people are kind of like chiming in and, yeah, I'll take a drink. And then it kind of like, I'm not saying you win over the whole crowd, but you get like a good, 20%, like a good fifth of them.
I just want him to not be in danger when he walks out of the place.
Yeah, exactly. To like sway the crowd a little bit. And you actually do succeed in doing that. It's going to cost you some coin, but I mean,
Yeah, how
it
much,
works.
by the way?
Honestly, because I said the place is packed, we're doing this in gold pieces, right? Isn't that how you have it set up?
Yep.
Okay. I'd say it probably cost you like 8 gold.
Okay.
Yeah. So nothing crazy. And so, and that's like a bunch of drinks. And then I imagine from here, unless there was anything else specific you want to do, you probably dance to like maybe a few more songs of his and kind of get it going. And then things can kind of simmer down. You guys can eventually find seats and settle, unless there was something else that you wanted to do.
I just wanted to get this innocent man out of here safely.
Okay.
That's all I really cared.
By the time you actually sit down, you've actually, broken a bit of a sweat, but had a good time. Probably a big, genuine smile on your face. By the time you sit down with the boys, they, a drink would have been ordered. I'm sure after this many bars, they know your drink by now. And been delivered to the table. You can see that, again, even though you sat down, a lot of people are still genuinely enjoying the time. And the bard is getting more into it than he was before. He's actually putting on a bit more gusto. Like before the music was good, but now the performance is actually good. And it's becoming a kind of a compounding success, which is nice. Despite that, when you look over at that group, they haven't calmed down at all. As a matter of fact, one of them seems rather furious about something at the moment. But whatever the case may be.
Gentlemen, you'll have to pardon me. I fear for our bard's safety.
Yes, you made that relatively clear throughout this, what was that, about an hour and a half there?
I fear feel I may sway these gentlemen yet?
I believe in you. I do.
Barkeep. I'm gonna order a bottle, like a big bottle, like a bottle of spirits, whatever they're drinking. I'm gonna either get a round for the upset people, or
Yeah, we could just say you just order more or less like a clay bottle, like a liter clay bottle, you know, the cork inside of it or whatever, of some sort of strong drink. I mean, honestly, it's one of those things where you know it's what they're drinking because you kind of like looked and you're like, oh, this is, I could smell it before I even like pop the cork. It's nasty. But you can walk over there with that bottle.
I'm a deft drinker. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm going to put my pauldrons back on.
Huh. So it's one of those things, do you slip into the bathroom first or do you just openly at your table?
I openly at the table.
Okay, cool. So nobody's necessarily watching you do this. Really imagine people immediately nearby notice. Doxy, back to you.
I would approach the table and I would say, gentlemen, for you, I seem to have struck a nerve with the bard. And where I come from, angry, happy, everybody likes a wet whistle.
Where I come from, people serve their country with honor, not with these lot, says the Gaston of the group.
What makes you so sure that he didn't leave Paradel because he disagreed? He is here providing entertainment for you all for free, after all.
Roll a persuasion check. For stunt point, Doxy, you can and
Alert.
It's tempting.
I mean,
Actually,
he eats
I will
like
use
4
Tower
dozen
of.
eggs.
I'll use Tower of Will.
Voice.
Your successes give you a sense of your own brilliance and strength of character. For the rest of the current role-playing exchanges, you gain a +1 bonus to any opposed tests where an opponent tries to put you at an emotional disadvantage, such as by intimidating you, impressing you, bargaining with you, and so on.
so when you say that, you actually can see that the fringe of his group, which his group is not, it's not huge, but it's not small either. It's legit 9 people. But everybody's been in crowds like this at bars or parties before. Sure, there's 9 people in the group, but really the bad ones are much less than that. So you can clearly tell because of how perceptive your character is at reading kind of emotional situations. You swayed actually several of them. You think you've actually pushed down any inkling of concern of the fringe, and even some of the, you get the meat in his potatoes are still kind of there, but maybe even had a bit of an effect on potatoes as well. So he kind of leans in and says, I don't think you understand. And kind of like gets up and kind of starts getting into your face, and he actually is going to
walk over here as well at this moment, just backing Chrisella, just right behind Chrisella. And just saying,
that's perfectly
She's
fine.
smiling, sweet as can be, at him. By the way.
So he tries to get intimidating with Chrisellen, but before I even roll that check, because you're just like walking over as you see this man like starting to get up, you make your way over with your Venator pauldrons on and everything.
Yeah.
You just roll a communications check, buddy. Right ahead. That's intimidate.
Yeah, not good at communicating,
Doesn't
but
matter. Everything's done by factor.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you put on your pauldrons and everything, and he still sees a master Venator walk over. And so as soon as you walk over, your total there is not enough to affect this meathead. But his 2 allies, I'm so sorry, duty's not turned on. Counter. I always have to start at the start of every stream, otherwise it doesn't let you. You guys can duty up now. So anyways, so the this meathead, he doesn't back down, but you can see immediately his closest, the ones that were kind of like in on it too, they're like, oh shit. And then they like I'm good, because you can tell clearly they probably served their 2 years, maybe a little bit more than that. But they're good. Maybe he's just too drunk to notice you, or maybe he truly is just kind of like in his own bluster.
As I walk over there, I'm just going to say, Chrisellen, you having any trouble?
No.
All right.
I'll press.
Just let me know if you need anything.
The clay bottle into the man's chest, and I'll say, "Drink for drink." I don't think I do understand.
Doxy,
Why don't you?
I didn't get to roll my intimidation yet.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I actually probably should set up a macro for this. Anyways, so hold on. I have to apply all stuffs here. There we go. See how intimidating he is. Damn!
That's really intimidating.
Yeah, he actually rolled 6 stunt points too. So
Fuck.
yeah. So he actually, when he gets in your face there, it's one of those things where as he gets in your face, you can literally see. No, don't forget, like you got an opposed roll. So even though I rolled an 18 with 6 stunt points, what you had rolled beforehand was a 16, right? The persuasion. With your +1 to modify that, so he's barely above you. Anyways, with the 6 stunt points, you can see he kind of gets up into your face, and he just gives you that look that's just kind of like, you know that your life is actually being threatened right now. He's giving you that look like if you don't back down, he will, in fact, break you. And you can see that the way he's getting into your face, the way that the Venator come up behind him, he actually uses the enrage stunt. He twists the knife, delivering a puncturing insult. More or less, the way he gets into the face of Cresselan here, I don't know. It does not sit well with you, Oscar. It makes you very uncomfortable. You are enraged. You have to choose between how you want to handle this situation aggressively. And despite that, he's also going to add the whole bond moot, which is the whole, all that here kind of like, it like settles in. The way he kind of gets in, like everybody around that watches is like, oh shit, he just threw it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I'm immediately like, my spear was already out, by the way. Like that, just the whole time I've been in here, spear has been out and standing. Shield is now out, and I'm walking over, and I'm just putting the shield in between him and Cresselan and just slowly pushing him back with that shield. And spear is coming up over the top. Time to walk away.
Can I do something as well?
You can, because again, you've been feel free to interrupt whatever you'd like, Josh.
Yeah, I know. I want to cast Enchant Weapon on his blade as he does that.
Does this require touch, or is it a range thing?
It doesn't say.
Then I would say it's
it does say a touch. So I would walk over and I'll start speaking in Gnomish. I would start speaking and I'll reach up and I'll touch his blade and a shimmering coat will cover it. And I have to roll.
So you're saying you grasp his haft?
I grasp it.
Give it a shimmer.
No.
No, it's just a tap on the end, on the butt of the spear.
Just tap a tip?
Yeah, just tap the tip.
Ooh, success.
So, yeah, and with the stunts for magic.
Oh, first time we get to see magic stunts.
Yeah, I haven't even read any. Be surprised.
So, it just increases. The only thing I can do is increase the spell power by 1, which doesn't do anything in this case.
Yeah.
But I'm also a journeyman with enchant magic, so it gives him a +2 instead of just a regular +1.
Okay. Does that go on the roll and damage?
I think it's just the roll.
Correct. It's just the roll.
Cool.
I don't think it applies to damage, but we can look at the rolls afterwards.
No, it does. It's affected attack and damage rolls.
Oh, okay. That's
Okay,
insanely
that
powerful.
spear is very scary now.
Yeah.
It costs 6 MP, so it's not cheap.
Yeah.
So I'll do that, and then I'll just look at them and go, I wouldn't fight them.
I'm going to let you roll intimidation one more time there, Oscar. But when you roll this intimidation, you're going to get a situational +3.
Okay.
Cresselan's still smiling directly up into that man's face.
15 with the situational.
Okay. It's one of those things where they you can clearly see that he like looks at this, and you can see like as he gets the shield and everything in his face, he kind of like looks at you, and it's like one of those moments just like, yeah, and he looks and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And he sees literally Cresselan, a Venator with a spear at him, and a gnome right there. And you can see that clearly he fixates on the fact that there was a gnome involved for like a moment. But then he has to fix on the fact that there's a spear in his face and a shield pushing him backwards.
Mm-hmm. And I'm walking him back to his seat at this point.
Okay.
Just walking him back to the seat. And I'm assuming he's walking with me here fairly easily.
Oh yeah.
And I just angle it down, pointing him towards the seat. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then spear comes away. Shield goes back on the back. And I just sit down in front of him. And
I slide the spirits onto the table. I slide the spirits onto the table and sit between them.
Oh, wait, between them?
Like they're across
I'm
from
face
each
to face
other.
with him, so
I'm on the side.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's one of those things where you guys now become keenly aware of exactly how quiet the entire bar got.
Mm-hmm.
And despite the fact that it got really quiet, all of a sudden the bard kind of chimes in and says, "And how about a drink for our veteran? Hey!" And just like, and you can see like, even though he's clearly the enemy, so right, it's just that perfect moment where everybody's attention is not even on him. He's just a voice in the crowd behind them, right? Like, because they're all looking at this, that people just kind of start cheering, yeah, like cheering and kind of going along with it, and just like everything kind of gets drowned out, and he's like, okay, and goes back to playing, and like, oh shit, like what was about to happen here? You guys are of course aware of exactly what just transpired. Not everybody else in the bar is, and you can see probably Laszlo's the one that's more paying attention to this because they are so focused on this guy that the bartender himself, you can see they're kind of like reaching into the bar for something, but they're like, and they reach over and grab a bottle and just like watching the situations. They like grab a bottle and a glass, and they're clearly going to come over to join you guys in a moment. Go ahead, Chris Ellen.
I would slide the spirits onto the table and sit down, and I'd say, "See, no point in not enjoying the night, sir."
You probably don't convince him at all. This is just unfortunately a very sour apple, but nonetheless, you have deflated him entirely. He is not going to go any further. He mumbles something under his breath, but it's barely intelligible, and just says, finally finishes it with grabbing the bottle and says, "Thanks."
Where'd you serve?
Again, kind of like an unintelligible grumble, like not even really a response.
But of course, strong spirits for men of honor.
Eastern Front, then?
He actually doesn't answer, but you can roll me a perception check. Empathy,
Sure.
if you have it.
By the way,
currently.
Real quick,
Josh is.
Laszlo, I would look to you gleefully. You would be able to see on my face how fucking impressed I was that you walked
He's
up.
standing awkwardly, just like right where he
Like,
was.
I wouldn't fight him. Like that killed it. That was amazing.
So you guys don't have to worry about rolling. Oscar is the one that mattered because he was going to wait for your chime-ins, but he got it himself. With the way that his face starts turning slightly a couple of shades, and the way that the shifting of his, posse around him is, you are assuming it wasn't the east, nor the south.
North?
Probably the north.
You ever go to the bakery? Middle of town, smells like strawberries.
It's one of those things where you can actually see one of the drunk but friends is kind of like, oh, it's
Cheesy focaccia bread?
he's kind of like, but again, not this guy. He's just face turning more red, not responding.
Yeah. I served there a few years myself. There's no shame in that. Service is service. Hunted some magical beasts for the locals. Kept things quiet. Good servicemen there. Many of them wanting a little bit more action. Some of them craving it. Some of them learning to hate the people who push the war on them from every front so that the North has to be defended. That resentment stays. I understand that. But you can't be projecting that onto everyone in the room who happens to have the same blood as those who fight, those who kill. Not everyone chooses it. Some people just live there, and some people leave.
I'm
not trying to convince him of anything.
I know. I'm gonna actually have you roll one more time, but I do want to say, Chris Allen's efforts, the drink that she just gave, I'm gonna give you a +1. The beauty of the speech is gonna give you a +2 to this check. Roll your last communications check to try to finally blow out this man's
Terrible.
blister.
Whoa.
But
Damn.
+3, so 9,
Yeah,
which is
yep.
Which is
easy-ish.
not, yeah,
it's not terrible.
horrible.
Yeah. So
Look, I'm a
it's,
-1 in communication.
it's one of those things where if again this one individual, he's a stick in the mud. He's probably at that that angry drunken point where just nothing's going to convince him. He might not even remember the whole evening. Who knows? Whatever. But definitely the people that are around, even his potatoes, they're like completely swooned. All the actions that were done. There's a friggin' gnomish mage with you. You've got a beautiful woman who just bought drinks and is trying to be nice in every way and put on quite the performance on the stage, even if it was a little sloppy. And then again,
Not good. Just fun.
Sometimes I like it a little sloppy. Anyways,
moving on. So you can see that this guy's a stick in the mud, but the rest of them have been swayed. You probably think it's the most you could do here.
At this point, then Oscar will stand up, and he'll actually he'll place his hand on the shoulder of the guy, and that's it. Just a signatory, hey, make it home safe.
Yep.
That kind of thing. And then I just walk over to his friends and just say, just make sure he gets home safe.
There's one last thing I'd like to do.
Flirt. Oh, sorry.
Alert.
That might come into play. I would pull our shot glasses closer and say to him and say, so, a friendly contest then, and pour a shot for each of us. I want to get him wasted so that he gets carried out.
No. It's one of those things where we've all seen these people. He doesn't look like he wants to play. He does not look like he wants to play. You can try to convince him with a persuasion.
I'm going to.
I'm glad one of us is good at communication.
Yeah.
Give me a second to get familiar with this. It's formidable. Because you have those opposing checks, it's actually an 18. I will give you, with the 18, I'll give it to you. It's begrudging. He does not want to do this, but it's one of those things where, like, as he's like, no. And you're like, come on. He's like, no. And then one of his buddies just, like, gives him a shove on the shoulder. He's like, dude. And he's like, oh,
I want to make him have fun or pass out. One or the other.
So he begrudgingly goes along because of the nudging. For once, the Gaston is actually being led by what's the little guy's name?
I can't remember. He looks
Pierre
so much like
something.
Pierre,
the
yeah.
dude that I used to know named Brandon.
The one that can't
sing
sing.
every time. Yeah.
Oh. No one. Oh God, I hate that guy. So anyways, so he will begrudgingly drink with you. If you're going to try to get this going into like a big drinking thing, I mean, he will have a couple of drinks, but again, he's not really going into this is like a shot for shot. Ha ha ha, let's have fun, Jaeger bombs kind of a thing.
I just want to convince him to fucking chill the goddamn hell out. I'm I'm drinking with him, and
he's already chilled out. He's already chilled out. Like he's already.
Okay, I want him to not be a sourpuss.
Oh, that's not gonna happen. No, he's beyond sourpuss. He just had a
he just had a spear
put
in his face. He's gonna be a sourpuss.
Well, then okay, how often do you get a spear put in your face and then those people sit down and try to play drinking games with you afterwards? I think that would put me in a great mood, genuinely.
If you define
like,
spear,
wow, I
can tell
almost fucked up.
It does depend on the definition of spear in this moment.
Anyway, you little fuckers. Then I'd like to try to get him to pass out.
Yeah, like I said, he has a couple of drinks. He has a couple of drinks. He does not like But again, he doesn't make a peep. He doesn't do anything else the rest of this time here. He just sits there glowerly. And it's literally just the fact that he has too much pride to walk out right now. Because if he did, it would make him look even worse. And he doesn't have his money purse to pay to walk out right now. That he's even willing to leave. He's literally kind of stuck here by his own pride and no cash. So.
I know. I just know that Chris Ellen would not. She would not want to leave it at that. Like she would want to make sure that there was not going to be.
Oh, he's not going to attack her. Yeah, no.
But she wouldn't know that. Like if he's sitting there,
I'm telling you, you know that. Like you can tell he's completely deflated. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. He is just a shell of what he was. He's a husk. You know what I mean? He's just sitting there like, because he can't pay for his own bill, and he's not going to ask for other people for money in front of you. Like it's not, the fact that you guys are still sitting there makes it difficult.
Does he make any comment like that?
No, but you already saw it play out earlier. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I mean like later, does he be like, I want to go.
Do you guys ever leave him alone, or does he stay there? Or do you stay there?
I'm going to walk away after I put my hand on his shoulder and told his buddies to look after him. Yeah. I'm going and I'm sitting back down at our other table. I'm assuming with Laszlo at this point. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would join you. I wouldn't like.
Yeah, it's just Chris Allen that stays and has a couple of drinks with them or whatever.
I would have had drinks with him, and then I would have gone up to the bar and been like, "When you're done, feel free to join me and my comrades."
To who? I'm sorry.
The
bartender.
Oh, the bard. Oh, okay, cool. My apologies.
The
and
bard.
just to be clear,
There.
Doxy, his friends that were with him joined into the drinking and had a good time. It's literally just him that's...
He's just a sourpuss. He's like this.
So a little bit later, honestly, not long after you finally join up with them, the bard finally comes over and he looks... It's one of those things where he comes over and he sits on the seat and he's like, oh... And then he realizes exactly what he's doing. He's being incredibly rude to somebody who just did him a huge favor. He's like, oh, thank you.
No, by all means, relax. That was a hell of a show.
I agree. It was. And he'll kind of like lean forward and go to take your hands. And he says, Petron, nice to meet you.
Charmed. I'm Chrisellen.
And he looks to
I would introduce them, actually. I would say, and this is Oscar.
He looks at Oscar, goes to shake his hand, and you can see his hand like pulls back for half a second. As he you can clearly tell he realizes.
Oscar swaps the spear into the other hand because it's in his right hand right now, and he just holds the hand out, and it's a sturdy, solid setting there, waiting for his hand to meet handshake.
He only pulls back, like you put your hand out, there's only another half second of awkwardness before he reaches forward and grabs it and says, nice to meet you. And then looks over at Laszlo and then kind of like looks at you and looks over at Laszlo and then reaches out and goes to shake Laszlo's hand. But again,
Laszlo doesn't shake his hand. He'll just be like, I'm Laszlo.
So it's one of those now he's the awkward one again.
He's
I would put a drink into his outstretched hand.
There you go. Smooth.
Doxy. That was beautiful.
Smooth.
Completely recovered. That's beautiful. So he like, thanks. And then from here, he just kind of starts to melt a little bit and relaxes and starts to have a good time. And we'll chat with you guys a little bit. So I don't know. Again, there's small talk, of course, that happens. I don't know if there's anything pointed you wanted to have with him or...
I want to pick his brain for knowledge of what's going on.
Okay.
Perhaps we retire to the carriage. The four of us.
Yeah.
And so you guys just kind of like leave together. And it's one of those things where, again, as you leave together, I'm sure Doxy, as she like does like a, Chriselle, as she does like a sweeping look in the room, just kind of like she leaves, is keen enough to make it look innocent, but is actually pointedly looking in that direction out of concern again. It hasn't moved at all and certainly isn't doing one of those watching after you guys as you're leaving things. No concerns there. And you can make your way out into the carriage. Again, he's got the carriage, and you kind of fill him in. And he's like, "Oh, this is." And he's like,
"Oh, what will Laszlo do in this moment? Will he retrieve the gold?"
I'll look to them. And, I'll let them kind of walk off and be like, "Oh, I forgot something." And I'll just run back and grab the bag.
Oscar's gonna walk behind you in this moment because I'm not letting you out of my sight necessarily.
No, it's fine. And I'm just gonna grab the bag and go, "Oh, someone must have dropped this." And I'm gonna walk in and put it on the counter and say, I found this outside.
And the bartender would be like, "Oh, thanks. I'll see if it belongs to anybody." And as you like turn to walk away, he starts holding up is the thing, and you can see that other people.
I get the fuck out of there as fast as I can. I do not want to be in there.
Roll
with the
me
guy
a dexterity stealth check to get away. No,
I don't have
it's fine. It's
No.
you do the 5 step before you're good. So you make your way back out or whatever, and that whole thing plays out inside there.
Mm-hmm.
He's excited to like, Jewel of Eroth, and that whole kind of like conversation happens. And again, he's genuinely a nice person. You get the inkling now that you understand him a little bit better. He is in fact in his late 30s, maybe early 40s. He's definitely somebody who's probably studied at the colleges in Bard for well over a decade. He knows a lot of music, and so he knows a lot of stuff. So he chats with you. But we can flash forward to you being inside of your wagon with him after our first break. So we'll be right back, everybody, in just a few minutes. Okay?
We did good.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. We need Josh to do horrible things. Bye.
It's gonna happen.